Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. So I'm back from my honeymoon and a lot has been happening in Tarkov. I'm going to play catch up and I've got a heap of videos I want to get out over the next few days before the wipe hits. But currently the patch notes, the preliminary patch notes for 0.11.7 is out. And in this video I'm going to cover everything that's in those notes, all my information from previous patches, and try and give you as much information to get prepared for the next wipe. So guys, without further ado, let's crack straight into it. So guys, first up, the patch has been planned or is going to be available from Monday or Tuesday. Generally they hit around 10 PM Australian time, the servers go down. So I think that's usually around morning time for NA and around the afternoon or midday for EU. So guys, Monday or Tuesday expected around that time for you guys. But hopefully it'll be one of those two nights for me, and I'll be going straight into my normal process of leveling very quickly. So guys, I'll be putting out a lot of all the new information straight away, all the screenshots for each of the traders at max level and all that kind of stuff. So guys, be prepared for a lot of that kind of stuff. Next up on the patch notes, I've gone over the stuff that's added. Now, the SVDS rifle is going to be added to the game. This is a brutal gun. It's going to be, it's like a semi-automatic Mosin, and it's going to be available from Purport level 3. They stated that on their Twitter. This is going to be a bit crazy. I don't really know how it's going to fit in the game, if it's going to be the pure meta, because it's going to drop anyone in 2 bullets to the chest, no matter what armor they're wearing. It does look cool as fuck. They've actually added, put plenty of imagery out in the past during the Tarkov TV podcast and on their Twitter. So super hyped for this gun. I'm really interested in seeing where it sits in the whole meta of the game. Is it going to be literally just people going from, you know, early game weapons to the SVD, and that's going to replace a lot of other guns, because you can get up to a 10-round magazine for this. So I'm looking forward to see where that sits. The next we have is the VPO Vepper Hunter. This is going to be another interesting one, and where it's going to sit. It's usually a 3 to 4 round magazine, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this one is going to use the M61, 62, and 80 rounds, so it won't be able to penetrate armor as easily as the SVD will. However, it's still going to be a very interesting gun to see where it sits. It's going to be, like I said, a 3 to 4 round magazine, unless they put some other sort of magazine onto it. So it's going to be really interesting where that one's going to sit too. Unsure exactly where it's going to be released inside the actual patch. It could be available very early. We'll just have to wait and see. Now next we've got the DT MDR assault rifle. This one is a 5.56mm caliber rifle. It's a bullpup, and it looks cool as fuck. It's the first bullpup addition to the game. I know a lot of people want the Steyr in there, which is the rifle I used in the Australian Army, and it's definitely going to be really cool to have a different variation of a 5.56mm that's not the M4 and also not the HK. So really interested in seeing where that's going to be added. It's going to be a lot of changes to do with the recoil, which I'll get into later, and it's going to be nice to see some other variations that aren't Russian inside the game. Now, I'm not going to cover every single thing in these patch notes. I should have said that earlier. I'm going to go over the main points that are probably going to be more important to people. There are a lot of fixes. There'll be a link down below if you want to actually read them all down to the T. But I want to try and make this video as short as possible, but give you as much information as possible at the same time. So the next thing is there's improvements for old quests with some new mechanics. So they've actually mixed up some of the older quests and actually changed how it works. I think this is a really good idea because some of them were literally a bit outdated on where they sat in the quest line, and I'm going to be all over this stuff once it's been released, and I'm going to go through all the quests, make sure I take plenty of notes as I level up very quickly. Next we've got is added a new condition of finding a raid. So what this means is, say for example the first Purport quest where it states you need to get an MR133 shotgun and hand it up to Purport. Now this won't just be able to be purchased from Skier, it'll actually have to be found in the raid and then handed off to him. I'm using that one as an example. I don't know if that's going to be how it is straight away, but this is going to be something they're going to have throughout all the quests to just stop it being cheesed straight away through that flea market. This will slow down the leveling process quite considerably, depending on how many times they implement it throughout the quest line. I'm unsure to see like where this is going to go. It could actually reduce my leveling process very quickly, but I am unsure. This is actually going to be where it's really interesting is, if I find a shotgun and then sell it on the flea market to someone else, does that count as an in-raid find? I'm interested in seeing where that sits. Next we have is the third USEC voice. This is done by a 41, another streamer on the Twitch community, and I'm pretty sure he's confirmed doing the USEC 4 voice as well. So I'm interested in seeing where that sits. It's going to be really cool. I think the majority of people are going to go straight to USEC 3 when it comes to the voice lines, just to test it out and check it out. Super excited to anything like that. They've also added now the keycard to get into labs. Now, they've stated on Twitter they want to know exactly how we wanted to have that. They asked if 100,000 rubles as a purchase from a trader would be a good addition. And there was a lot of ideas going around. I'm really interested in seeing where it's going to sit. But from what we can tell so far, you'll be lootable from scav bosses, so Rashala and also Killer. And then obviously there'll be a way to purchase it from traders. I'm really hoping it's only limited to 1 per reset. Or they've got other additions, like we were bouncing around the idea of a 100,000 rubles plus a key or something else to help reduce the speed in which you could just purchase these in masses. So we'll have to wait and see with that one. Next, I've got over 100 new weapon parts and modifications. No idea where these are sitting. They've put out so many different imagery. Hopefully there's some really cool ones in there. I'm sure there will be. The thing is, every time they add all these new parts and modifications, they all just become the meta. And also, say for stuff like Gunsmith, they actually change how easily it is to do the Gunsmith task, which is also cool. But at the same time, I know further down the patch notes, they actually said they've gone over them to make sure they're more in line with the current items in the game. Next, we've got new equipment. There's 2 new body armors, a rig, helmet, and visors with a backpack. So we'll have to wait and see where they are. Hopefully, they're a good balance to fill the gaps of what we currently have. I currently feel like some of the earlier items aren't really there yet. I like the fact that there's a cheap level 1 helmet from Ragman, but body armors are very hard to get by very early on, and making it quite difficult for when people are new to the game later in the wipe to actually get their hands on an armor. So even if there's some more cheaper armors that would say stop pistol bullets, that would be actually just a nice addition, or say shitty ammo that doesn't have much penetration. Now they've got the 9x19 armor piercing rounds. So this is for your Glocks, your MP5s, stuff like that. I'm really excited for this. I love the SMGs. PP19 is one of my favorite guns at the moment. I'm really excited to see where this sits. I don't really want it to be able to penetrate all helmets and armors, but at least if you could get through face shields a lot more consistently, because I think it was sitting around the 9 to 12 rounds to get through a face shield with PST GZH. If we could, say, get that down to 2 or 3 through a face shield, that'd be sick. I would use SMGs all the time because I do like the accuracy of a MP5 with the rapid fire. They have added the animation to load an SKS 1 round at a time through the top. Super keen on that. I love the SKS early on. It's one of those guns that can really get through early armors very easily. And if you can get our way with not having to take a rig in at the start as well, so you just take an SKS, chuck some rounds in your pockets with some meds, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about spending that extra money on a rig. Awesome for that. Moving on to optimizations, I'll summarize it as this. There's improvements to stutters, desyncs, freezes, and optimizations to the map, customs, interchange, rain, and AI. We'll have to see where that goes. I feel like every time they do a major content patch, there's a big step backwards and they have to keep working forward to get it back to where it was. So after, say, 10.2, which is the major optimization patch, and then also 11.5 was the major optimization patch. Then after the content patches, it seems to take a step backwards. We'll just have to wait and see where that sits. Moving on to AI improvements, I'll summarize this because they're pretty much all the same, they're around the same things. Mostly to do with getting the bots stuck on certain things and acting whack. So they're getting stuck on doors and doing weird animations. It's all based around that. Feel free to read through it if you feel like you want to. Moving on to fixes, I'm going to go through the main ones. I read these about 4 times over while sitting on the plane, and I summarized them down to the ones that might be more important to you guys. Bug where the character could run the camera into the walls. I don't know if this is the one I found on stream, but effectively you could look through every wall in the game by doing an action. I'm not going to say how to do it, just in case it's not that one, but I'm hoping that is the fix for that one. There's a bug where you have the cracks in the visor still displayed after you've repaired them or they're at full condition. That's been fixed, which is great because no one likes going into a raid when they think they have a clear visor and it's fucked. Bug related to simultaneously searching of several areas of the body. Now this was related to, you could open up, say, the backpack, the rig, by double clicking on it and clicking the search little button up the top. You could actually search 3 or 4 things at the same time. That is meant to be fixed. Looking forward to that one. Bug with multiple nesting of the effect on pain on limbs. So I think this is the one where if you've got 2 blacked out legs and maybe a broken leg as well, and you're running, it would actually hit you like 3 times. Like blah, 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 blah. So it was really shit with that. Hopefully that one's been fixed, so you're actually only taking the 1 tick of damage every time you're running. Even if you have 2 black legs and taking double the damage, it's still just doing the 1 audio animation and damage amount, or the damage amount for 2. Moving on to various fixes of localization fixes. Various fixes of problems associated with the position of sound coming from above and below. Now, I found one of these really annoying spots on Factory where you could stand on top of the pillar and pretty much anyone underneath you could not hear you. There are a few spots in the game where it's like the wall's not really that thick, but it blocks all sound no matter what. And as soon as you go that like a little bit over the edge, then you could be heard again. I'm really interested in seeing how many fixes have done with this, how many spots they've found, because there's some parts of the map where it's literally just a little tinker. You go around a corner and next minute you can be heard, or you get a little bit more exposure, you can be heard, but just go that little tiny bit back, can't be heard at all. I really hope they've actually found some of these spots and are constantly working on these ones, because sound is probably the biggest tool in your arsenal to being able to kill people before they kill you. Alright, so I've moved past the optimizations and fixes pretty quickly because I know most of the people are super hyped for the changes and additions. So moving on to the change, increases recoil of all weapons on an average of 30%. Now the guys that have been around a while actually know they've already done an increment of 30% a while ago. I'm talking about 9 to 12 months ago. They've already done this once and they're doing it again. This is going to hopefully reduce the amount of full auto fire. The way it kind of works at the moment is you take one shot, it does like 2 or 3 bullets above, and then everything is like a laser after that, particularly later in the game when you've got max recoil and you've got good modifications on your guns. There's some sort of aim assist currently in the game. It makes it really easy to shoot full auto. I've fired a lot of guns at full auto in real life. Unless it's built for full auto and it's got a bipod, it doesn't really aim very accurately on particularly in a standing position, unless you're using something that's built for it, like an MP5 at close range, and you've got it like locked in the shoulder, and it's got very little kick. M4s and I've shot Styres and M4s, they do have a lot of kick when you go full auto. So it's a really hard balance because you don't want to have it to be like too crazy, but it needs to be realistic in a game that's aimed at being a realistic simulator military survival game. So I'm hoping this goes better to make the game harder, but also keeps it within the realm of realism. A cool little addition is added to the lower left corner of dog tag icons. You actually see the level number. So if you're searching through, say, your inventory for trades and stuff like that, going to be super easy from that. Added the ability to get up while reloading prone. I've complained about this before and people have said, but you wouldn't be able to get up. I'm confident I can stand up whilst doing a reload action. It's weird, but you can do it. Generally, you won't put the magazine away in your pouch. You would actually just drop it or chuck it if you're standing up whilst doing a reload. But you can get up while doing a reload in real life. And I feel like having it in the game is great. So I'm glad they've added that. It's one of those things that was really needed. Updated the mechanical quest gunsmith according to the new mods and changes in parameters of the old. Like I said before, they've added all these new modifications. They have made it so now that it fits in line with all the new mods that have been added, because some of them are really simple to finish now, and I'm hoping that it's not made it so it's only one modification setup that works, but you still have a couple of little options, but at the same time it's not just simple as I just chuck any gun together and it kind of hands in, because some of them were starting to sit like that. Next one is increase the item spawns in safes. Now, safes at one point used to be really good. You used to be able to get gold chains all the time and, say, bitcoins, rollers, all that kind of stuff. And as well, on top of that, money stacks used to be a lot higher. Currently, or at least before this patch, money stacks were somewhere between, say, 600 rubles and maybe 1100. A while ago, they were between 2,000 and 4,000. So I know they've increased the item spawns in safe, so probably more stacks of money or more chances for having the better loot. But there was a time in the list, particularly in this patch, where safes weren't really that big of a deal. I know there was a time where we used to farm a lot of the safes, say, in customs, because there's a lot of safes within close proximity of each other, as well as shoreline, say, in the luxury houses. An interesting change has been the speed of movement is now set to maximum after sprint if you previously moved slower. So what I would actually do is I used to press caps lock to go to slow moving speed, to creep, and then I'd tap shift to sprint, sprint like 5 or 10 paces, and then press shift again to go back to creep. Just so when gunfire was happening, so it'd be like creeping, gunfire happens, use the gunfire to mask your sprint, and then press shift again to stop, go slow, and then be already back at the crawl. I think this actually should be a choice. I don't think they should deliberately make it so you go into full pace walking, because depending on how you use your situations is how you should how this action should work. I know probably it's caused more people harm than good by when they go to sprint and then they go to finish their sprint, they want to be going faster. So I get why the changes happened, but I think it's actually something that'd be cool to have as an option in the actual menu itself. They've done corrections to the statistics screen. I really hope this is actually to do with accuracy. The accuracy one is out of whack by far, but hopefully they've actually made a lot more adjustments to the statistics screen, because a lot of it is just a bit weird for me. Some of them don't really make sense. One of the cool things I want to see in statistics as well, if it's not the death screen or finisher raid screen, but in the overall statistics of the player, is I actually want to know how many times I've died from PMCs, how many times I've died from say even raiders and scavs, if you could separate them too, and then just self-inflicted death. So grenading yourself, jumping off buildings, all that kind of stuff. Because I think that those statistics really show true kill-death ratios. Because I know a lot of people go, oh, what's your kill-death ratio? And you'll say, oh, it's 14 or whatever. But if you just farm scavs all the time, your kill-death ratio can be really high. But if you are playing games or maps that are more PvP orientated, then it's going to be swayed differently because of that. Repair money is now spent from the stash instead of the container on the character. So if you actually had a wallet on you with some cash in there for the extracts, that's now going to go from the stash, which is cool. Balance changes in quest experience awards. When I had the opportunity to speak to Nikita during that interview I did, he actually had a joke with me about how it was too quickly, or you could level too quickly, and I agree. You can level too quickly at the moment with how the quests are spread out and also the amount of XP, and he said that there was going to be changes to do it. So they're balancing out the amount of quest experience you get from each of the awards. I'm really excited for that. It's going to make it slower to get to level 40, but I think it's still going to be quite easy unless they do some really drastic changes with the experience, just because there's so many quests available before level 40. I actually suggested that you don't really need to change much, but maybe spread out the quests so there are actually some quests to do later on and you have to actually level up to get to them. But I'm interested in see how it's all going to balance out overall. They've made increases to chance of fractures from bullets and also increased damage to armor and helmets. I'm really excited to see where this goes. If it's going to be like, holy crap, you can like 3-shot people through their armor, no matter what armor they're wearing and all that, people are going to lose their shit. And I think that's going to be really cool. Hopefully Anton does some armor testing videos. I'll probably do some just quickly testing over different guns to see where it all sits. But I got a feeling after this next patch, we're all going to drop a little bit quicker. And I think that's for the better. There's a bit of time where the ammo is too tanky. Like for example, if someone's using 7.62x39 PS ammo, shooting someone with a good armor on, it's still taking like 12 to 15 shots to get through that armor to drop someone. I think that armor needs to lose its integrity earlier on. So you've got a less chance of getting one shot through those armors, but it still shouldn't take like 10 plus, particularly from a high caliber like a 7.62x39. They've done changes to the ammo stacks. I'm not really sure where this is going to be. Is it going to be like, maybe, I know the Ultra US rounds for the 7.62x39 is a 70 or a 75 stack. I don't know if it's going to make it 100 stacks, but it does make sense. Our stashes are very messy with ammunition, and a lot of people, particularly on standard accounts, don't have the room to just buy bulk ammo and chuck it in ammo crates and stuff because it just gets too crazy. So hopefully we can have actually some quite decent sizes. Even if it's just 100, that's still like, what, a 40% or 50% increase of how much ammo we can have in a stack, and it'll make it a lot more enjoyable experience, particularly the people that have messy stashes or standard edition. Increasing the size of the ammo case from 6x6 to 7x7, self-explanatory, more ammo space as well. Various bug fixes and balance changes of items. I'm really keen to see where they are, where they all sit. I know that wiki page is going to be going nuts with all the changes that's going to be going on, and I'll try and report on these as much as possible for you guys. Fixes and changes some of the merchant offers. I'm not sure if this is due just the purchasing and selling of items, or also the barter trades as well. It feels like the whole economy is going to have another, what's the word? It's going to be an overhaul of the economy in where it all sits, and it's going to be interesting to see. I know I've probably said interesting to see a lot by now. Cool new animation being added. It should be really an added more than replaced, but the mechanical keys and key cards for the labs are all going to be card readers. So next to the doors, you can actually see the little card readers already. They're going to be actually like slots that you can actually slot the card through, which is going to be cool. Added new loot points to customs. Improved the quality of loot in the Kibber store on Interchange. Already, Interchange has been a lot more prevalent for squad fighting, particularly with the killer spawn in there. Adding some extra loot to the Kibber store is going to make it a lot more fun in Interchange and should be a lot of fun there. And lastly, corrected the amount of ammo rounds bots have. So that's going to be cool to see where that's going to sit overall. So guys, I've tried to belt feed this out as quickly as possible using all the information I know from the past. Keep it up to date for you guys with what's going on with all the patch. Hopefully you guys like this video. I am back streaming from tomorrow. So guys, if you're not following me on Twitch, feel free to go down and link below. Give me a follow over there. Any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments. Or down in Twitch. I'm going to be streaming like crazy over the next month. Usually when the patch hits and a wipe hits, I'm streaming about 80 plus hours a week. It's pretty crazy, and I'm probably going to do... I don't know where it's all going to sit with this experience thing. I'll definitely do 1 to 40, but I'm just going to see where I go for the next wipe. If I feel healthy and fit, I'm going to keep streaming until I feel like going to bed. So the longest stream I've done is 39.5 hours. I would like to see if I can do it 40. I will just have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for future content. I stream on Twitch 6 to 7 days a week. Go on the link below. Give me a follow over there. You can tackle questions. Feel free to hit me up in the live stream or down in the comments below. And lastly, I'll see you next time. Wake me up before you wipe. I just want to play the next wipe right now.